Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another episode of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon. Today, we're going to be talking with Fabricio Riggioni. Fabricio is a property advisor for Nativu, sorry. It's a company that advises people on investing here in Costa Rica. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable, has lived all over Costa Rica, is Costa Rican, speaks amazing English, knows the area from, I suppose, Santa Teresa all the way up to Playa Grande. So today we're going to be talking to him about kind of growth areas in Costa Rica over the next 5 to 10 years, land banking, and also some of the developments here in Costa Rica. Shout out to everybody that's reached out to us. Again, it's amazing the response that we're getting here. I really appreciate everybody that has reached out to us. It's everything from, just tax advice. A few people have reached out on to, taking a look at a property for someone, to just helping people make the right investments here in Costa Rica, whatever that may be, hotels, developing land, homes. You can contact us, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. And remember, if you have any questions or would like to get any future guests on the show, just let me know. I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to get on for the 100th podcast here, which is a big milestone. So we'll have to celebrate that one. But remember, if you enjoy this, please share the word, like it, share it, and also give us a great review, guys. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, Fabricio. How are you doing?
Hey, Richard. Great to hear from you. All good from Marbella. Guanacaste.
Marbella, you are all over the place, sir. I think last time we met was in Tamarindo. Before that was in Grande. Yeah, you're all over the place.
Yes. One of the things that, I've enjoyed since been living here in Guanacaste for quite some time is how different every region is, right? Yep. So when you go below Avellanas, you turn into a different Guanacaste than when you go above it.
Yep.
Which all those places, Playa Grande, Tamarindo, Langosta, Flamingo, they're really changing, man. It's something interesting to see how in the last 2 years things are changing in the province. And, I think it's really exciting to see all the different changes, some for the better, some not for the better, but, it's interesting to see what's going on, right?
Yeah, I think that, again, you mentioned there Flamingo, Langosta. Those areas, are a little bit more developed. The other areas like south of Avellanas, Negra, Marbella, Junquiao, they're still raw and authentic, I would call them. It still feels like Costa Rica.
Yeah, like when I'm from the city, I'm from San Jose. I've just been living in Guanacaste for a long time. And I remember going, when we were 15, 16 years old, going to Tamarindo, going to Playa Grande, going to, all the beaches in Guanacaste to spend the weekends, etc. And you can see how everything has changed. Still, Guanacaste preserves a lot of, their true origins, their true being, right? And I think that's the most important part. The Guanacaste culture is a strong culture, and I think it rubs off on anyone that comes either from the States or the city. It's really cool, and I think all the changes that we've been seeing, they're really picked up in the last 5 years, right?
Yeah, no,
especially in that area that we were talking about, Langosta, Tamarindo, further south where I'm at now in Marbella. I think the Guanacaste vibe is even more embedded, right? Because of the dirt roads, because of not so many restaurants available, all the things that in Upper Guanacaste you have now by the dozens, by the hundreds. You got the hospitals, you got schools, you got everything. Up in this area, man, it's still pretty wild. So it's fun to combine both.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, you've been in real estate, also advising for quite some time now. But in the last 6 months, Fabricio, what has really surprised you?
I think that the reason that most surprised me is seeing the new type of investors that are coming. I believe that, when I moved here, around 2010, 2011, you would see still a lot of financial investors, a little more specialized into the real estate market in Costa Rica, doing their homework more, taking more time to make decisions.
Yep.
I believe that the people that are coming to invest now are, you still got your investors and you know how to play the real estate market here, but you also got, a lot of emotional buyers, just wanting to come and enjoy what's life in Costa Rica, which has become, just a positive brand worldwide, right? I think the Costa Rican government has done a really good effort.
So, I mean, Fabricio, you've been in the real estate game for quite some time now, but I mean, what has really surprised you in the last 6 months?
I think what surprised me the most, Richard, is like the type of buyers and investors that are coming to Guanacaste. When I started in real estate in Guanacaste, when I moved here in 2011, pretty much all the people that would come here were looking, for a financial gain. We're looking also for, different type of investments.
Yep.
Also, the beauty of the country. Right now is the first time that I see so many emotional buyers, right? So a lot of people buying online. I hadn't had any online sales before until a few months after the pandemic. So that's become something that you can see how Costa Rica is viewed in the world as the place to be, the place where you don't only vacation, which was the deal 10 years ago, where you actually can build a life for you, your family, do business here. It's interesting to see that change of why are people buying here.
Yeah.
And I think one of the other changes that I've seen, and it's not something by surprise, but we're experiencing, all-time lows in inventory. So I think it's pretty cool to see what's being built, what's being developed, and it's a good boost for Guanacaste. And I think the fact that developing in this area is not as easy, I think it's also something good.
Yeah.
For you to go through the process of building and developing, it's not as straightforward as in the city or, the States or other places. Here, I think that little bump that developers have, it's good. It maintains the balance of what we like about Guanacaste and business, right? You got to have a balance. So
I agree. I mean,
I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that one, but
I agree. I mean, I think it keeps, you've got to have a love for Costa Rica and a passion to want to do a project here. You better have time as well. So, I mean, it keeps the kind of the cowboys out and really only allows the development that is necessary to happen in Guanacaste. So.
Exactly. And how much is necessary, right?
Correct.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, what are the hot markets in Costa Rica at the moment that you've seen, and what's cooling off? I mean, where are you seeing, what's climbing up and what's cooling off?
Yeah, so hot markets in the coast, obviously, Nosara. The only thing why Nosara cooled off is because there's nothing available there anymore, right?
Yeah.
Everything pretty much sold out. Same thing is happening with Santa Teresa. We started a Nativo presence there since January with some partners and some advisors in the area. And usually when we open an office in Costa Rica for Nativo, it takes a while till people start generating their sales and get the momentum and the pipeline going. But in Santa Teresa was like this, right? They started in January, and all these months we're looking at sales that they had and the movement. So Santa Teresa definitely a super hot market. I think it's one of the places in the world that's becoming so famous that sometimes you got famous actors, actresses, businessmen kind of just buying also just because you got to have a property in Santa Teresa, right?
Yep.
So it's pretty hot. I think Santa Teresa has a big challenge at hand of trying to contain this hype also in terms of preserving their nature, right?
Yep.
Our nature.
Well, and also infrastructure as well.
It's a challenge there, but all over Costa Rica, we're looking at a hot market.
Yeah. Are there any beach towns that you feel that are cooling off? Anything that's like kind of, yeah, I mean, anything that's not as hot as it was, I don't know, like 12, 24 months ago?
Yeah, I think actually what I'm seeing is markets or beach towns that weren't hot that are hot.
Yep.
I've seen Junquillal, being more desirable. And why shouldn't it be, right? You got a paved road all the way to the beach. You can drive either to this side where Marbella, Lagarto, and all these areas where have beautiful beaches, but they're not as developed. Or you can move north to Flamingo and Tamarindo and Langosta. So Junquillal, and it's probably the next place I'll live for a while. It has the best of both worlds. So if I were to be, advising someone in terms financially where to allocate some dollars, I would definitely be looking to Junquillal for some deals that are still left. It's since everything became pricier, right, in terms of land, houses, etc. Double, even triple in some areas, right?
Yeah.
So what it does is, you get to a point in the market where it stabilizes, right?
Yep.
The hype goes still here. We're still experiencing good sales and everything, but it's kind of like the leftover inventory, right? Until we start seeing the new buildings finishing this year, and we've experienced a lot of pre-sales as well because of that lack of inventory. So definitely Junquillal was turned, people turned their eyes to Junquillal, are turning their eyes to Junquillal, and also Marbella. Even we have 18 kilometers of dirt roads. There's things happening here as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nosara had dirt roads for many, many years, and look at it. Santa Teresa still has dirt roads.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't think dirt roads are a reason why a beach town shouldn't develop. I mean, I think we're going to start to see that. I mean, the areas of Junquillal and Marbella have great water, good infrastructure, so there's no reason why it wouldn't develop. Whereas areas, like Nosada, Santa Teresa, I mean, even Portrero and Flamingo have stopped, issuing water letters at the moment until they get an idea of what's happening there, with the water infrastructure. So, I mean, I think that these are great options, over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, and when you see the trend of what's going on, it's also good if you're an investor in the area, if you are looking more on the long-term end of things, right? It's a good time to be, doing some land banking in some of these areas.
Yep.
Right? Trying to get good deals in areas like Marbella, in areas like Lagarto. These are places that are developing at a really, that we're developing at a really slow pace. And I can see them, growing at a faster pace, right?
Yeah,
maintaining their vibe and everything. But yeah, if I would have to be investing money right now in land, I'll be doing some land banking in these areas, trying to get some good deals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing quite a bit of it at the moment, but in areas that people aren't looking. I'm developing a project in Arenal and one in San Gerardo de Ota, just because they're mountain areas. And, tourism data, I see tourism data all the time, because really that leads real estate sometimes is, the tourism comes first and then the real estate kind of comes after. And I see huge amounts of opportunity up here in Arenal, where I'm at the moment.
Yeah, there are places in Costa Rica, and that's the beauty of it, right? We're such a small country, but it's amazing. So like when I meet clients or when I meet people that ask me about Costa Rica, my first advice is also like, get a car or get any means of transportation and go see. It's crazy how, you can spend 2 months in Costa Rica traveling around and still be amazed by different locations.
Definitely.
Arenal, that area where Arenal, which is the other side of the lake, it's amazing. And I think those are areas, Monteverde, all these beautiful places. People are looking at them. It's good for the economy. So interesting to see what all these changes in the world will do again, right? So Costa Rica has proven also economically that even though we went through a dip when the pandemic started, it lasted a few months, but we're now at the numbers that where we were before.
Yep.
And getting stronger. So I'm glad for our country how it's recovering, at least the part at the coast economically, right?
Definitely, definitely. Well, I mean, a lot of people are looking, I mean, you mentioned inventory is low. A lot of people are looking to buy land and build a home, Fabricio. You know, when they do this, how much equity do you typically find that they normally gain?
Yeah, so like there's a lot of people that are playing that developing game, just taking one property at a time, building a home, selling it. A lot of spec homes happening, and you can see right now, you know, profits are increasing that return on investment up to like 30%, even 50%.
Yep.
Up to, you know, higher, just because of one thing. You're playing you're playing also with that desire of people to buy in Costa Rica.
Yep.
There are things that sell for a certain price right now that you would have asked me a year ago. I'm like, Richard, you're crazy. They won't go too high. It won't go as much as this, right? And for what I'm seeing, there are sales, you know, where investors and developers that are doing this, you know, they're taking good profits from it. So it's definitely something that I'm helping out my clients with, something that I'm doing, and it varies, right? It depends also on where you see that return. You know, you got people that want to wait longer for a sale, maybe push the price a little bit more and play, you know, the high end. In my case, you know, I like to be just a little bit below the market, you know, sell it fast, move on to the next project. And I think it comes also with the responsibility that you have when you do things like that, right? So responsibility to design something that is aesthetically nice, that is according to the tropical dry forest that Guanacaste has, which is, you know, work with a certain type of materials and try to sell it to someone that is going to keep a good vibe within the community, right? So I think it's a good game to be in right now, and I encourage people to do it and to do nice things, right? Use good architects. That's my big recommendation.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, what are the projects that you personally like in Costa Rica and why, Fabricio?
Excuse me. My favorite project in Guanacaste is Ventanas de Playa Grande.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, it's
it's one of my favorite as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful project and it has still tons of phases to go.
It's a beautiful project. I like, you know, what they did in terms of balancing things, balancing what Playa Grande has to offer in terms of nature, and also making the experience of living in a, you know, family-oriented place. Melina, you know, she's a great architect. Santiago has done a great job developing. So obviously, with any gated community as big, with any project, you know, the more sales you got more people coming into the project, and then I think that's what challenges more of gated communities, right? How to manage all the different ideas and perceptions. But when you balance things out, I think Ventanas is one of the gated communities that has done one of the better jobs of also finding an identity for the project and making it real to live there, right? So I would, you know, part of the things that I want to see in the next few years is try to see, you know, what good developments pop up if they're able to secure, you know, obviously the water hookups and all the regulatory processes, but it's always, you know, good to see that a good portion of Costa Rica, you know, was developed, I think, the right way.
I agree. So my last question for you that I love to ask everyone, Fabricio, if you inherited $500,000 and had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in and why?
That's a good question.
Well, especially with the viewpoint that you have, because typically, you know, I find realtors stay in certain swim lanes in certain areas, but you do a lot of, you know, the northern parts of Guanacaste. You know, I've seen you in all over the place. So yeah, it'd be interesting to get your input on this one.
Exactly. 500K right now. I'm trying to buy, you know, as much land as possible in Marbella. Yep. with water and yep. beautiful trees and beautiful nature, and not even to develop it, just to go there, live there, yep. enjoy it, and land banking it too, right? In case you want to develop, or in case you want to keep it for yourself, sell it, you know, try to get a good deal. But yeah, I like nature. I like this area, so probably that.
Awesome. Well, Fabricio, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I think this has been very insightful for a lot of people out there. Again, you just have a very unique viewpoint of Guanacaste by being a Tico, and also having lived up there in many of the areas as well, and having put your own money down on the table and bought and sold and developed property as well. But I want to thank you very much for your time. Anyone wanting to get in contact with Fabricio, I'm going to put all of his details in the description. And thanks very much, Fabricio.
Gracias, Richard. It was a pleasure, man. Hope to see you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Pura vida.
Bye. Guys, great podcast there from Fabricio. As I think you can see, you know, being a Costa Rican and also in the northern part of Guanacaste gives him a huge advantage, but also he knows that, you know, the whole northern area of Guanacaste very, very well. I've met Fabricio multiple different times, and he's been a great help for me on many, many occasions. So feel free to reach out to him. All of his contact details are there in the description. Remember, guys, if you need any help or need any assistance with anything at all, we always respond to emails, comments. It's pretty crazy. I usually do it myself with all this extra time that I have, but I will always take time to respond to you. As I say, I'm a sucker for helping people. But you can email us info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. Till the next podcast, guys. Appreciate you listening in.